Hello, welcome to a new video. So today's going to be a bit of a chill one. I have a day off work and nothing much to do, so I thought I'd be productive and get this filmed and edited in advance because I'm away this weekend. I'm going to Edinburgh, which is going to be amazing. So as you'll see from the title and the thumbnail, this is an unhaul, and you might be thinking, Becky, you did an unhaul less than a month ago. Yes, I did. And I got rid of 45 books. However, since then, I've been looking at my shelves and I was like, do you know what? There's more here that I'm not interested in anymore. Some of them are ones that I've read and I've just decided, actually, no, I'm not gonna either continue the series or I'm not gonna reread them. Some, I've got angry and unhauled everything by the author. That one is just one thing. We're gonna get to that one. I might start with that one. No, I'm gonna make you wait a little bit. So yeah, I am gonna quickly finish my coffee and then let's get started because I need to get these. Like, you could see there's like a massive gap here. Some of my shelves aren't even double stacked anymore. This is how many I'm getting rid of. I'm very happy with this. I'm feeling more positive about this than I was after my unhaul that I did last month. So there's progress. I'm happy with this. Okay, so first up, let's go through some special editions. So I'm unhauling the Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. Now, this is the Illumicrate version. I absolutely love this edition. I much prefer it to the standard edition, which was this yellow and navy. Like, the black and rose gold is my aesthetic. However, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this book. It was a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. However, I've basically forgotten most of what happens in this because it's been so long. I'm pretty sure the sequel still doesn't have a release date, and if it does, I don't know when it is because I don't actually care anymore. I enjoyed it when I read it, but I'm not going to bother continuing because what's the point? And I don't even know if Illumicrate will do a sequel, a matching sequel, when it does come out. So yeah, I don't see the point in keeping this one. Next up, we have This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed. This came in a Fairy Loot YA, I think, at some point last year. I reread the blurb and it sounds like a good story, but it's not one that I'm interested in, and it's also YA, and I am very much moving away from YA fantasy now. So I'm not interested anymore. This is nothing on some of these books. It is literally a me thing. Next up, another Fairy Loot YA is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I reread the blurb for this as well, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. And if I do, it's me forcing myself to read it for the sake of it. So I don't see the point. So this one's going as well. Then we have An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan. This is a gorgeous paperback edition that we got in Fairy Loot as an additional book. But at the time, it sounded great, but as I've had it on my book cart for longer, I've just realised I don't have any interest in reading this, and I just don't really care. So again, it's going. And then in Illumicrate, we have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I really don't think Rebecca Ross is for me. In my last unhaul, I got rid of a different Rebecca Ross that I'd got in a different book box. It sounds not for me, basically. So yeah. Then I think this is one of the last book box editions, I think. So we have This Woven Kingdom by Tahiri Mafi, and I actually have 2 editions of this that I'm unhauling. So we have the Illumicrate and then the Waterstones exclusive. I DNF'd this last month. I'm really sad about it, and nothing on the book. It's not my sort of book, and I realised that 44 pages in. So yeah. Another one I DNF'd is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. This is the absolutely gorgeous Waterstones edition, and I am incredibly sad I DNF'd this 106 pages in, but it made me uncomfortable. I've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm getting rid of it. Then we have a whole series, which the first book was in a Fairy Loot, I want to say back in 2017, 2018. I think it was 2018. Who knows? But I got the other 2 books as they come out. Fairy Loot didn't do them, but I got the hardbacks. I've read the first book and I really enjoyed it at the time. It is YA fantasy. However, I actually have no motivation to pick up the rest of the series. So we have Heart of Thorns, Tears of Frost and Soul of Cinder by Leigh Bardugo. I'm actually really sad about this because it was so hard to get Tears of Frost when it came out. So I'm actually really gutted about this, but I really don't think I'm going to read it. And the other YA fantasy series that I got the first book from Fairy Loot. And then last year I read the sequel to it after all those years and I enjoyed it, but I just realised that, yeah, YA fantasy that came in Fairy Loot and that is just really not for me anymore. So I'm not even going to attempt to continue this series because I don't want to. Next up, I'm going to be honest, there is another book box one, but that's the one I'm saving. Next up is another series. So this is the His Fair Assassin series. So it's books 1 to 4. There are 5 books, I think, altogether. I have books 1 to 4. I've read book 1. It was part of my self-destruct last year, and I did read the first one, so I didn't have to unhaul the whole series. However, I enjoyed it, but I've since realised I don't have any interest in continuing this series. So what is the point in keeping 4 kind of chunky books when I don't need to? Then we have another series, or part of a series. It's the first 6 books in this series. It's the House of Night series by Pacey and Christine Cast. So we have Marked, Betrayed, Chosen, Untamed, Hunted and Tempted. I have the sprayed edge versions and I'm actually really sad about getting rid of this. I read Marked years ago. I read Marked and I read the first Morganville Vampires book the same time. Not the same time, the same like month or whatever. And I liked Morganville more, so I continued that and finished that series, and I've since reread that series. But this made me cringe a fair amount, and there was one thing that made me a little bit uncomfortable. So I have been putting off continuing the series, and I think it's time to just give up and just unhaul them, because what's the point? What is the point? Then I've got 3 arcs, and I feel really bad about this because I haven't read them. But first off, we have Ace of Spades by Farida Abiki Iamidi. If I've pronounced that wrong, I apologise. I didn't actually request this. This was just a additional book in a book box club book, which shows how long I've had it. Plus, it's an arc of a book that's been out for like 2 years. I've heard very mixed things about it, but again, it's YA and I have no interest, so it's going. Then we have the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. I was very excited about this because dinosaurs. However, I have heard very bad things about this, and it's actually put me off wanting to read it. And I know usually I don't listen to other people's reviews on things, but some of the things people were saying about it, I can't even remember what they were now. I just remember that it made me think, oh, actually, I don't want to read this. So I'm just going to get rid of it. And then the final arc was Stormblood by Jeremy Szal. I want to say I requested this, but I don't remember requesting it. And it's really daunting. And it's like 500 pages long. And I don't think I'm going to like it. Like, looking at the back, I don't think I requested this. So I don't feel as bad getting rid of this without reading it, because I didn't actually request it. So it's going. Then we have another series. We have another series. It is the Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken. I read the first one about 3 years ago. Really, really liked it. It was like a 4-star, a really high 4-star. But I have no interest in continuing it, and I've heard that the series doesn't end great. I'm done with my dystopians that don't end great. Veronica Roth, I'm looking at you. So yeah, no, they're going. And then the other series is actually one so I read the first one and I really enjoyed it, and to be honest, I probably would continue enjoying this series if I read it, but it is YA dystopian type thing, and I have no interest in continuing it, and it's a shame because I have heard nothing but good things about this entire series. But it is the Noughts and Crosses series by Mallory Blackman. Like I said, I absolutely loved Noughts and Crosses, but I just have no motivation to continue. So we have Noughts and Crosses, Knife Edge, Crossfire, Double Cross, Checkmate, and then the Nought Forever, like little World Book Day one. Yeah, like I said, I'd probably like them, but I just really am not interested in YA as much anymore. And this takes up a massive amount of space for a series that I keep putting off reading. So yeah. Before I go on to the rest of the single books, I'm going to go through this series. Okay, so first off, this is going to give it away what series I'm about to show you after this book. I'm getting rid of Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't read it. I was really hyped to read it, especially with Hellbent coming out. And now I don't want to. I'm done with this author. And this is going to a good home because this is going to Lisa, because she never got the hardback and she really wants the hardback of Hellbent. So she can have my hardback, my never read hardback, which, is it signed as well? No, it's not signed. I didn't get the signed edition. I couldn't remember if I did or not. But she can have this. It's hers. Yeah. Which brings me on to the thing that really, really hurts me. I'm getting rid of everything in the Grishaverse. So we have the Illuma crate, A Demon in the Wood. We have The Language of Thorns, The Lives of Saints, Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, King of Scars, and Rule of Wolves. Now you might be like, but Becca, you really, really love this series. If you've been watching my videos lately, you will know that I recently read Rule of Wolves. And it was a 2-star for me, and I absolutely hated it, and I raged my way through it. And it has now put me off ever reading another book. I will say Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom I do have on Audible, so there's a possibility I might reread them at some point. However, I won't be reading Six of Crows 3 when it comes out. As far as I'm concerned, that is a duology. It does not need another book, especially with the direction it's going. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Leigh Bardugo, you suck. That might be a bit harsh, but I don't care. I'm still angry. Let's move on to the rest. So we have Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. Really liked the sound of this when I first got it. But I just have no interest anymore, so yeah. You're going to see a fair amount of middle grade in this because, again, middle grade is something I'm like losing the will to live with. Next up we have How Not to Be a Vampire Slayer by K.E. Birchall. I was really hyped about this, but I just have no interest anymore. The Hatmakers by Tamsin Merchant. I've heard great things, but my mum finished reading the audiobook for this last night and she said that it was not great. And I trust her judgment, so yeah. Tinsel by Sibel Pounder. I really enjoyed this book. It's a really cute book. It was a 4-star for me. I don't think I'm going to reread it. If I pick up a Christmassy book that I've read before, it's probably going to be The Christmas Carols because I love that book. But I have no interest in this, so in rereading this, so yeah. And to be fair, if I do ever want to reread it, I do actually have the e-arc because I got the e-arc and I read it. So, and I think I have the audiobook, so I can reread it that way if I really, really want to. Next up, we have Ash by Melinda Lowe. This was actually, now I only actually bought this because I did a naming books thing challenge where I had to go shopping and I had to pick out a book for each letter of my name. And this was the A book. So I don't actually want to read it anymore. It sounded great when I read it, but it's YA and I don't care about it. Next up, we have We Are Blood and Thunder by Kezia Lupo, or Kezia Lupo. Again, it's a YA fantasy and I just no longer have interest in it, which makes me sad, but oh well. Then we have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Now, I really enjoyed this book, don't get me wrong. Like, really enjoyed it. But if I want to reread it, I will just go for the audiobook because Neil Gaiman narrates it. And I think his books just sound so great on audiobook when he narrates them. So I would go to the audiobook. So there's no point keeping it just to look pretty on my shelf. Next, we have Darkblade by Steve Feasey. Another one that I got back in like 2020 when I was still majorly into YA fantasy and just YA in general. But I just don't care for it anymore. So, yeah. Raybearer by Jordan Ifweko. Yeah, again, same thing. YA fantasy, and I no longer have any interest in it, which is a shame. Oh, this is actually came in a book box. I think this was Book Box Club, I think. But yeah. Next up is one I DNF'd, and that's The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. I DNF'd it 9 pages in. I don't care for it, so yeah. It had a trope and I didn't care for. Then we have The Girl Who Dreamt the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I was really interested in it and now I'm not. Next we have The Last Firefox by Lee Newbury. This sounds so cute. I probably would absolutely love this, but I just have had no motivation to pick it up since getting it. And I feel like this could just go to someone who's going to really, really love it. And I don't think that's going to be me, to be honest. And the same goes for Like a Charm by Elle McNichol. I pre-ordered this when it came out, I think last year. I was really hyped for it. And now I don't really care much for it. So unfortunately, this is also going. I do have one more, but I've just reread the blurb and I actually think I might keep this one. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. I can't talk today. I was going to put this on here, but I'm actually now umming and ahhing about this one. I think I might keep hold of this one and see if I read it. If I don't read it soonish, then I will unhaul it. But I still want to keep this one. So this one isn't going on the unhaul. Okay, so I'm going to do a really quick count and let you know how many books this was. Okay, so that was actually 56 books. So in like a month, I've got rid of 101 books, which is amazing because I got rid of 45 in the last unhaul. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. That is a very good unhaul, and I actually feel a lot better about this now because I feel like I'm finally getting to a stage where my shelves are actually representing me as a reader now. Like obviously there is still a lot of fantasy and sci-fi on my shelf, and I don't want to get rid of all the fantasy and sci-fi, especially for books that I've read and loved. But it's not my main genre anymore, and I'm being a lot more careful with what I actually buy now. Like I haven't actually pre-ordered a lot of things, and a lot of what's on my anticipated releases video that wherever it is, did last month for the first 3 months. I haven't pre-ordered most of it because I'm just gonna hold off and see how I feel about it. I don't need to buy everything the moment it comes out. So I'm going to be a bit better this year with that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this unhaul. I will say any BookBox books will be going on eBay. I have only just put the ones from the last unhaul on eBay, but I'm hoping to get these done today. Like I said, Ninth House has already been claimed. If you want any of the others, the special editions will also be going on eBay. But if you want any of these and you're willing to pay postage, then let me know in the comments. And if they are still available, because I will say this picture is going to be going to my friends and my mum first, or my mum and my friends first. So they get first dibs. But if you have your eye on anything and want to just pay postage, then I'm happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments and I'll let you know if they're still available. I'll probably wait until the end of January, and anything left over after the end of January will be going to the charity shop. I don't know if I'll get a chance to do it sooner than that. I'm not sure. So just comment if you're interested in anything and I'll let you know. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.